Stuart O'Grady was a part of a generation of riders that truly put Australia on the map. He was an utter legend in his own right, a classic hardman of the sport, and these are his 4 best ever wins. Let's get the elephant out of the way here. O'Grady has admitted to doping during his career and this tour, as did a majority of the peloton. This tour, the 1998, also played host to the Festina affair, 2 rider sit-down protests, and near irreparable damage to reputation of cycling. Happy? Great. Now it's O'Grady's 2nd time racing the tour. He's already had success, pulling on the yellow jersey for 3 stages, following a breakaway on stage 3, and some key time bonus wins during intermediate sprints on stage 4 before relinquishing the yellow jersey following stage 7's time trial. So we come here to stage 14, a mountainous transition stage that will give the breakaway a good chance of success as the race finishes at the foot of the Alps. And indeed, on a hot 91-degree day, it'll come down to the breakaway battling each other for the stage win. The 6 survivors are all watching each other in the final few hundred meters, knowing that O'Grady is probably the fastest finisher here. As the sprint begins to wind up, O'Grady is second wheel, looking over his shoulder constantly so he doesn't miss the jump. It's a rider from Seiko that truly makes the first acceleration, and O'Grady is on it instantly. He gets alongside the Italian, who drifts to the right more and more in the final few meters, and it's a bike throw for the win. O'Grady takes it, just barely. Of course, success also came closer to home for O'Grady in his career. In 1999, the Tour Down Under raced its first edition, a week-long stage race in Adelaide, Australia that has now reached 25 editions of the race. That inaugural edition proved cycling had a home in Australia and was won overall by O'Grady. Footage from the race proved very hard for us to come by, but you'll have to believe it when we say a rider winning their inaugural home race is a very big deal. Stuart O'Grady spent the 2003 Tour de France largely missing stage wins, so he wanted, even needed, 2004 to include a stage win at the Tour. Also weighing on him was a doping scandal that faced Cofidis earlier this season, which had O'Grady sitting on the sidelines for nearly a month, while team management figured out what they wanted to do. Now he's at the Tour de France, and on great form here on stage 5. He's in the day's breakaway with Sandy Cesar, Jakob Piel, Magnus Bagstedt, and French national champion Thomas Voeckler. O'Grady can currently enjoy the envious position of being the fastest finisher out of these 5, which means that it's time for a move to be made. Jakob Piel, wanting to avoid a sprint, attacks with 4.4 kilometers left, and O'Grady is right on him. Voeckler joins up, and then O'Grady goes on his own. Battling through the rain, it seems like he has the advantage to be able to hold them off until the end, just barely. But incredibly, Piel and Voeckler have managed to close the gap. This means that all 3 of them slow down, and then the group increases back to 5 riders. It's Bagstedt that starts the final sprint, grinding a big gear, too big for him to even get on top of, and this dooms his chances. O'Grady comes around the other side of Bagstedt. For less than a second, he's evenly matched, and then O'Grady, the much better sprinter, pulls ahead and takes another great stage win in his career. Quote, "It was a massive release to win. The feeling crossing the line first means a lot more than any other victory. We've had hard times in the last few months. It's just been an emotional roller coaster." There's another big race in France, a race that winning it makes your entire career. O'Grady had always loved Paris-Roubaix, the queen of the classics. Quote, "The first few years I raced it, I loved it, but I never dreamt about winning it. Well, of course I dreamed about that, but I didn't think I was socially big enough to be able to win it." We cut to 2007. O'Grady is now on Team CSC. He's had a great sprint campaign thus far, but he is on the same team as classic star Fabien Cancellara. So when it comes to Roubaix, O'Grady is going to be the domestique. Quote, "My goal was to help Fabian win. The only way that I could win was for me to get in the break and fly under the radar. And look at that. O'Grady is in the breakaway, flying under the radar. Later in the race, he joined in the chase group of Tom Boonen and Cancellara. Quote, Fabian looked gone. He was covered in salt. He asked me how I felt, and I said good. He said go for it. So I attacked, and off I went. With 34 kilometers left, O'Grady follows an attack and gets up to the lead group, and then goes again. There's just 23 kilometers left for O'Grady to take the biggest win of his career. The closer he got to the velodrome, the bigger the gap got. He was on the ride of his life when he reached Roubaix. Quote, it's a shithole in the middle of nowhere, but for a cycling enthusiast, the hairs go up on your neck when you enter the velodrome. It's like coming into a coliseum for a bike rider, knowing the people who have ridden there before. It's mythical, it's historic, and it's part of people's livelihoods and their calendars. I never thought I'd win it, but all the stars aligned. These days, O'Grady has come full circle as the race director of the Tour Down Under, providing an opportunity for young Aussie stars to follow in his path. All in all, O'Grady is still fondly remembered, and rightfully so.